Welcome to Intelle Learn, your ultimate source for learning. So, our today's topic is going to be types of constructors in C++ programming. In the previous video, we got to know about what is a constructor. So, a constructor is a special member function which is automatically executed when an object is created. So, in today's video, we are going to learn about what are the types of constructors used in C++ programming. So, let's get started. So, types of constructors. So there are three types of constructors which we are going to learn in C++ programming. First one is default constructor, second one is parameterized constructor, and third one is copy constructor. These are the three types which we are going to use in today's video, which is nothing but types of constructor. So let's begin. So right now we will create a class named as let's say numbers, inside which we are using the access modifier public. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create two data members, number one and number two. Okay, so first one is default constructor. So default constructor's definition is a constructor having no parameters is nothing but a default constructor. You can think of a constructor, a default constructor having no parameters. For example, let's say we are creating a constructor named as numbers having no parameters. So this is a default constructor having code. Okay, so let's take example like in this constructor we are going to initialize the variable values like this. Okay, as this constructor does not have any parameters, so it's easy to call out the function inside the main function, which is numbers n1. Okay, when I execute the function, it will be successfully executed. So number one and number two variables. Okay, when I create the function, default function will automatically be executed, where 5 value will be stored inside data member number 1 and 10 value inside data member number 2. So this is the first type of constructor, which is nothing but a default constructor. Next one is parameterized constructor. So parameterized constructor, in simple words, a constructor having parameters is nothing but a parameterized constructor. In parameterized constructor, what is a parameter? What is the definition of a parameter? It is nothing but parameters are the requirements of the member functions. Parameters are the requirements of the member functions. If we don't fulfill the requirements, what will happen? It will not be executed. For example, right now my constructor numbers is having two parameters, n1 and n2, which is of data type integer. So what will happen? It is nothing but it's about parameterized. So let's do one thing. The code will change like this. Okay, so the requirements of the constructor are n1 and n2 variable values of data type integer. It means that if we don't give any two integer values to the number constructor, then the code will not be executed. So when do we give these values? We give these values during the object creation here. So numbers n1 open parenthesis followed by the values. So what will happen? 12 value will be stored inside n1 parameter, 24 value will be stored inside n2 parameter, and afterwards n1 variables value will be stored inside number 1, n2 variables value will be stored inside n2. Okay, so this is all about a parameterized constructor. A constructor having parameters is nothing but a parameterized constructor. Okay, so next one is nothing but a copy constructor. So what is a copy constructor? A copy constructor copies one object's data into another object. What is a copy constructor doing? A copy constructor is copying one object's data to another object. So what is the syntax? What is the syntax of a copy constructor? So syntax of the copy constructor is numbers. Okay, constructor name open parenthesis, class name, which is numbers, followed by object name. So object name, let's say ampersand object, let's say we do give like this, open parenthesis. Now what will happen? Number 1 is equal to object dot number 1. number2 is equal to object dot number2. In copy constructor, the parameter which is given here is nothing but a class object. So inside this class object, the number1 data member's value will be stored inside number1 data member of the current object, whereas number2 data member's object value will be stored inside number2 object. It's like this, okay? Numbers n2 is equal to n1. Did you got it? First we have created n1 object where we passed 12 and 24 value, which is stored inside number1 and number2 data member for object n1. Now what we have to do, we have to copy the data from the n1 object into n2 object. For that we used numbers n2 is equal to n1. So in this process the copy constructor will be initiated, in which the n1 will be our object. n1 is equal to object, which is here. n1 will be the object as a parameter here. So it's like n1 dot number1. So as we all know, inside n1 object we have stored value 12. So it will be stored inside, it will be copied inside number1 data member of the n2 object, and n1 dot number2 data member, that is 24, which we have given. The data will be copied inside number2 data member for object n2. Let's execute the code and check whether it is executing or not. Okay, the code is successfully executed. It means that it's working. Now let's check whether the data is copied or not. Okay. Now I'm executing the code for n2 object, n2 dot display, as well as n1 dot display also, n1 dot display. Now let's execute the code, check whether it is executing or not. So it is successfully executed, as we can see. So this is a parameterized constructor, which is the second type. Constructor having parameters is nothing but a parameterized constructor. We need to pass the values during the object creation, which is done here, as you can see, which we have done here. And next one is copy constructor. Copying one object's data into another object is nothing but the use of the copy constructor, which is here. This is a copy constructor. So what is happening here? Okay, so first we have created an object named as n1, and we have passed the arguments, that is 12 and 24, inside the constructor. Which constructor? Inside the parameterized constructor n1 and n2. So 12 is stored inside n1, 24 is stored inside n2. What is the return code inside it? The code is number1 equals to n1. That is, number1 will be equal to n1 value, and right now we have passed the value 12. It means that now the number1 data member for the n1 object, will be 12, and number2 data member for object n1 will be 24. So we used display function for n1 object, so it has displayed us 12 and 24, which we have already done. Now we used copy constructor, right? So copy constructor is copying the data from one object to the another object. So right now we created n1 object. Right now we have created n1 object which consists of data. In n2 object we have to copy the data of the n object. So that's why first we created the copy constructor, in which the parameter used is class object, and afterwards we have used number1 equals to object dot number1. As we already know, numbers n2 equals to n1. It means that we are going to copy the data from the n1 object to the n2 object. Inside n1 object we had number1 data member and number2 data members data, that is value. So what we have done, we have passed n1 object as the parameter. So obviously n1 dot number1, which is 12, it is stored inside number1 data for the object n2. Same process for number2, n1 dot number2, that is 24, which is stored inside number2 data member for the object n2. And afterwards we have used n2 dot display function to display the output on the screen. So that's it for today. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to please like and subscribe to my channel for more programming updates. Constructor is the basic pillar of object-oriented programming language because it is the initialization of the class where you get the memory from the computer and you can easily access towards the function. So these are the three types which we learned today. First one is default. Default is nothing but a constructor having no parameters is nothing but a default constructor. Second one is a parameterized constructor. It is nothing but a constructor having parameters is a parameterized constructor. And third one is a copy constructor. Copy constructor is a constructor which copies one object data towards the next object. Thank you for watching. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you.